Are you sick of being jealous every time someone else does well? Does jealousy make you feel like you're behind and getting behind? If you don't learn how to control your envy, it can keep you from being happy, give you energy, and move forward. Based on the story of the famous samurai Miyamoto Musashi, the video will show you 9 effective ways to deal with envy. Step 1. Use envy as a compass. Can you relate to the uncomfortable feeling of envy you get when you see someone getting something you want? When someone else is successful, sure of themselves, or respected, do you feel a sudden wave of jealousy? A lot of people try to hide or ignore this feeling because they think it shows weakness. Would you believe me if I told you that envy is a strong force that can help you reach your full potential? The great samurai Miyamoto Musashi thought that a warrior's feelings should never control them, but they could be used as a guide. He wrote the following in the Book of 5 Rings: "Perceive that which cannot be seen with the eye." In other words, we need to look deeper than what we feel right now to find out what our feelings really mean. Not only is envy a bad feeling, it's also a sign. This shows you what you really want but haven't yet achieved. When you feel jealous next, don't try to hide it. Instead, ask yourself, what does this feeling tell me? If you want someone else's money, it could mean you want to be financially free. If you wish you had someone else's confidence, it means you want to build your own. If you wish you had more control, it means you know how important it is but haven't worked on it yet. You can use your envy to drive you to do better once you know what it's looking at. Do not let anger stop you. Instead, use it to drive you to act. Look at the people you envy with interest, not anger. What's different about them? What patterns have they formed? What kind of thoughts do they have? Use envy to find the signs that success leaves behind. You take charge of your feelings instead of letting them rule you when you turn envy into a way to grow. You go from feeling helpless to feeling strong. That's how you change a feeling that used to hold you back into something that moves you forward. Step 2. Detach from scarcity thinking. One of the main reasons we feel envious is that we think there are limits to our success. When someone else gets a raise, makes a lot of money, or is happy, we feel like we don't have as much to look forward to. This way of thinking, called scarcity thinking, makes us feel like life is a race and only a few people can win. But this is just a trick. Shigemitsu Musashi, a famous warrior, knew that the real battle is always in the mind. What he wrote, "Don't think false thoughts. There is a way to get there." If you think that success is hard to come by, you will waste time being angry at other people instead of working on yourself. You will see that there is more than enough for everyone if you train your mind to see the many possibilities. Really think about it. If someone else gets rich, does that mean you can't? Does the fact that someone else finds love mean that you can't? Of course not. You can have as much success as you want. There are a huge number of roads, ways to improve, and chances available to those who are ready. For Musashi, a bigger opponent was never a threat because he studied them. Instead of thinking about how he was behind, he focused on his own skills and hard work. This is how we need to think. Being grateful and self-disciplined are key to getting away from thinking about lack. You will worry less about other people if you concentrate on what you have and what you can build. You should stop seeing life as a race and start seeing it as your own trip. The only person who really beats you is yourself. Step 3. Turn comparison into self-improvement. It's in our nature to compare things. We compare our skills, looks, and achievements to those of others from the time we are little. But comparison isn't the problem, it's how we deal with it. Many people compare themselves in ways that make them feel bad about their own abilities. They feel like they're not good enough when they see other people doing better. I will never be like them. This way of thinking leads to anger, envy, and self-doubt. It's true that comparison can hurt you, but what if it could help you grow? Miyamoto Musashi never feared his enemies because he learned from them. He watched what they did well, took what they taught him, and then improved his own skills in the same way. He didn't feel threatened by strong fighters. Instead, he used them to help him get better. Compare yourself to others, but don't let it make you feel less good about yourself. Instead, use it to make you better. The important thing is to stop being envious and start learning. People who are good at something you admire shouldn't make you feel jealous. Ask yourself, what can I learn from them? Instead, what's different about them? What skills, habits, or ways of thinking have they picked up that I haven't? If you want to be as fit as someone else, look at how they work out. If you like how successful someone is, look at how hard they work. There are signs of success around you. Use comparison to help you get better. Comparison stops being painful and turns into a tool for personal success when you focus on growth instead of anger. Step 4. Stop idealizing others' lives. Are you comparing your life to someone else's best moments? It's easy to think that everyone else has a great life these days, since social media is always showing pictures of wealth, success, and happiness. But what you see isn't the whole story. Miyamoto Musashi thought that illusion was a sign of weakness. Things must be seen as they are, not as they seem. Don't let what you see on the surface fool you. Look closely and you'll see the truth. Nobody's life is really as perfect as they make it out to be. The business owner you admire may have problems with stress and being alone. The person who is in a happy relationship may have feelings of self-worth. The rich person may feel empty on the inside. You see the things they do to win, but not the things they give up. Musashi's way was to be free from delusions. He didn't waste time comparing himself to other people. Instead, he worked on getting better at what he did and mastering his path. You need to do the same thing. When you start to wish your life was like someone else's, tell yourself that they have problems too. They are people just like me. Instead of looking at what other people have, work on making yourself better. Build the life you want without comparing it to anyone else's by making your mind stronger and more disciplined. Envy leaves you when you stop believing in the false idea of beauty. And when that happens, you get your happiness back. Step 5. Strengthen your self-worth. Anxiety and envy often go hand in hand. When you don't feel good enough or worthy, you start comparing yourself to others and always find something you don't have that they do. But real confidence and not being envious come from inside. This was very clear to Miyamoto Musashi. He thought that a warrior's strength wasn't just his sword, but also how he thought and how hard he worked. Musashi never looked for approval from other people. He didn't compare himself to other fighters. He only thought about how good he was at what he did. Respect Buddha and the gods without counting on their help. This means you should never count on other people to make you feel good about yourself. You can recognize and admire other people's greatness. You have to get it from your own acts, discipline, and progress. How then can you boost your sense of self-worth? First, make sure you keep the promises you give yourself. Make a plan and stick to it. If you want to improve yourself, you need to be constant. When you keep a promise to yourself, you gain faith in your skills. Second, learn useful things. Being good at something makes you feel confident. There is no such thing as envy when you get good at something, whether it's exercise, business, communication, or a craft. You no longer feel inferior to others when you're good at it. So, learn to control yourself. Musashi trained hard over and over again because he knew that you have to work for real trust. Your sense of self-worth grows as you become more focused. When you know how valuable you are, envy can't hurt you. You stop comparing yourself to other people when you understand that you are on your own path, which is sufficient. Step 6. Take a social media detox. In the modern world we live in now, most people can't live without social media. It keeps us in touch with family and friends and gives us fun things to do, but it also has a bad side that most people don't see. It makes us compare ourselves to others, which can lead to envy. Whenever you scroll through your feed, you see carefully chosen pictures of other people's trips, promotions, relationships, and accomplishments. It's easy to think that everyone else is having a better, more exciting, or more successful life than you. Comparing yourself to others all the time can make you feel inadequate, envious, and angry. As the great samurai Miyamoto Musashi, he knew how to concentrate and follow rules. He worked on his skill alone for years, avoiding distractions to get better. He knew how important it was to keep his mind clear and keep his attention on the job at hand. In the same way, we need to be aware of how social media can distract us. Just like Musashi wouldn't let outside distractions get in the way of his work, we need to learn how to unplug from platforms that take away our energy and mental peace. You don't have to quit all social media at once during a break, but you should be more aware of how much you use technology. For starters, stop following accounts that make you feel inferior or envious. Instead of comparing things, Choose what to post on your feed to encourage growth and happiness. You might want to limit the amount of time you spend on social media or choose certain times of the day to check your accounts so that you're not always connected. Setting limits on your social media use will give you back mental room, lower your levels of envy, and help you focus on what really matters, your own happiness and growth. Remember that if you want to master yourself, you need to focus on your own journey, not someone else's. This is similar to how Musashi worked on improving his skills. Step 7. Focus on your lane. Focusing on one thing at a time is one of the most important lessons that Miyamoto Musashi taught us. Musashi didn't waste time on things like comparing himself to other people or being sidetracked by things going on around him. He knew that the only way to mastery and success was to focus on his own road, growth, and mission. How we should deal with envy in current times is based on the same idea. When you always look at other people and compare yourself to them, you lose sight of your own path. Having envy makes it hard to see clearly and keep your mind on your goal. Change how you measure your progress so that you don't have to use someone else's. Do nothing that is useless, Musashi said. In other words, stay away from anything that gets in your way. Looking at what other people are doing or trying to be successful like them will only slow you down. Your lane is unique to you, with your goals, strengths, and flaws. Pay close attention to it. You make your own way to success when you focus on your own growth. Envy will no longer exist in your mind because you will be too busy working on yourself to think about it. Musashi spent his whole life getting better at what he did, and you should do the same. When you stop focusing on other people and put your attention on your own journey, you will start to grow and envy will go away. Step 8. Channel envy into action. Having envy doesn't have to be a bad thing in your life. In fact, if you understand it right, it can be a very strong motivation. Instead of letting envy bring you down and make you angry or question yourself, use it to drive you to do something, just like Miyamoto Musashi would have. Musashi wasn't the type to hang out and mope about his problems for hours on end. His idea was to always do something and get better. When he was in trouble or competing, he didn't think about what other people did wrong. Instead, he worked on getting better. When we see someone else getting what we want, whether it's in their job, their relationships, or their way of life, we often feel envious. Instead of being angry about it, see it as a sign that you want the same things in your life. But don't just wish for them, start working right away toward your own goals. If you want to look as good as someone else, you should go to the gym or eat better. If you want to be as successful in your job as they are, you should work on yourself or learn new skills. Miyamoto Musashi thought that you had to beat yourself before you could beat other people. You are in charge of your own life when you turn envy into focus and drive. Do not stay stuck in a state of wanting. Instead, use your envy to fuel your growth. When you feel envious, it's a chance to move forward. You'll soon find that your envy has turned into the power to become great yourself if you use it to push yourself to new heights. Step 9. Reflect on your wins. Miyamoto Musashi thought that a real fighter always thinks about things. After every fight, he would carefully look over what he had done, both to learn from his mistakes and to celebrate his wins. Thinking about your wins, no matter how big or small, is a great way to fight envy. It is a lot harder to compare yourself to others when you are focused on your own growth. When you're always looking at what other people have done, you'll feel envious. You feel more grateful and good about yourself when you take the time to notice your own wins. Sometimes you need to tell yourself that you are on a unique path and that your growth is important, even if it doesn't look like someone else's. Set aside time every day to think about what you've accomplished. It might be as easy as writing down 3 wins every week, like finishing a tough job, making progress on a personal goal, or getting through a tough situation. You can break out of the cycle of comparison and boost your confidence by enjoying these small wins. You should know that growth is a process, just like Musashi kept improving his skills to become a master. Every step forward is a win. When you recognize and enjoy your own successes, envy stops holding you back. Your happiness will come from your own accomplishments rather than the success you think others have.